these guys are just weird. That's who they are. Don't give them the power. They want to take books away. They want to be in your exam room. These are weird ideas. Listen to them speak. Who's asking for this crazy stuff? We do not like what has happened where we can't even go to Thanksgiving dinner with our uncle because you end up in some weird fight that is unnecessary. They see the least fortunate among us as scapegoats and punchlines for them. Kamala Harris and Democrats see them as our neighbors. Everybody in this room knows, I know it as a teacher, a bully has no self-confidence. A bully has no strength. They have nothing. We don't have the 10 Commandments posted in our classrooms, but we have free breakfast and lunch.
That right there is Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. Tim Walz is everybody's new favorite dad. He's even a lot of people's favorite dad more than their own dad, and they wish that he were their dad. He is obviously, before this pick, in recent weeks become a rising figure in the Democratic Party, and before that, none of us knew him. Nobody ever heard about him. That doesn't matter because a lot of people didn't like Kamala Harris just a few weeks ago, and now she's getting insane rally crowds because people want people who are normal and relatable and able to speak in a way that can captivate people in a down-home, real way.
People like J.D. Vance know nothing about small-town America. Their policies are what destroyed rural America. They've divided us. What Kamala Harris knows is bringing people together around the shared values, strong public schools, strong labor unions that create the middle class, healthcare that's affordable and accessible. Those are the things. You look what they're talking about, they went right to division.
Tim Walz's insight and the way he delivers those insights and his values and just is plain spoken is perfectly suited for today's political landscape, making him the perfect choice that Kamala Harris could have chosen. He's really wonderful. I didn't know much about him very recently, but his style makes him a master communicator, in some ways very similar to Barack Obama. Not in style, but in how they achieve getting their message across in a way that just inspires people, relates to people, and makes them feel like they can trust him. Obama is widely regarded as one of the best political speakers of our time, if not the best. His speeches are polished, he's media savvy and inspiring, but in the 2024 political scene, there's a new approach that I think makes waves and clearly is making waves, and it's an equally compelling style to speak, and that's Tim Walz's style of being just plain-spoken, relatable, affable, kind of goofy, and somebody that you just feel like you know they're not going to pull one over on you. They're not going to screw you over. And it's pretty contrasting, of course, to the oratory style of Obama. And so I'm going to show you the differences in a moment and compare and contrast the two, because Obama, of course, truly great, one of the great inspiring speakers, but Tim Walz, in such a different way, the perfect messenger for Democrats ahead of the 2024 election. Look at this clip as a throwback to the style of when Obama first broke onto the scene, his speaking style, and how he just was able to capture an audience.
E pluribus unum, out of many, one. Now, even as we speak, there are those who are preparing to divide us. The spin masters, the negative ad peddlers, who embrace the politics of anything goes. Well, I say to them tonight, there is not a liberal America and a conservative America. There is the United States of America. There is not a black America and a white America and Latino America and Asian America. There's the United States of America.
Classic clip of Barack Obama. Yet that, of course, was when he first popped onto the scene at the 2004 Democratic National Convention, being elected as president just 4 years later. His eloquence, his ability to connect ideas to his emotions made him an instant sensation. But these people don't have to speak perfectly all the time, just like I didn't speak perfectly in that sentence, because if you remember, Obama, when he wasn't giving speeches, was a pretty boring speaker, off the cuff at press conferences and interviews. You'd often speak like this.
In the late 60s, 70s, and
a lot of ums, and a lot of pauses. And sounded kind of like Yogi Bear. Hey, boo-boo, why are you stealing the Rangers' food?
Issues related to violence.
So if that can be the great orator of our time, why can't Tim Walz be considered a fantastic, inspiring, great orator? He can be, and he already is being so. Even in Obama's farewell address, his style remained very similar, articulate, measured, deeply inspirational, and his speeches often would transcend political divides, speaking to the broader aspirations of the American people.
For too many of us, it's become safer to retreat into our own bubbles, surrounded by people who look like us and share the same political outlook and never challenge our assumptions. If every economic issue is framed as a struggle between a hardworking white middle class and an undeserving minority, then workers of all shades are going to be left fighting for scraps while the wealthy withdraw further into their private enclaves.
Tim Walz, on the other hand, brings a different flavor to his speeches. He's grounded, straightforward, relatable, affable, articulate, but also real good at framing the other side. And you need to be able to troll these days. You got to be able to troll to win the conversation in this constant clickbait news cycle. And that's what he does real well. I mean, take a look at this clip.
J.D. Vance literally wrote the foreword for the architect of the Project 2025 agenda. Like all regular people I grew up with in the heartland, J.D. studied at Yale. And I got to tell you, I can't wait to debate the guy. That is, if he's willing to get off the couch and show up. So
that's straight up a reference to what seems like might be the case that J.D. Vance wrote in his book, that he used to like to literally bang a couch. He would put a upside-down latex glove, inside-out glove inside of couch cushions and go to town. And not go to town to get milk, but to... Anyway, I think you understand the point. That is a great way, with a smile and a friendly grandpa demeanor, to be able to hit people hard. It's a best of both worlds. And while Obama's speeches would reach a broad audience and would transcend the immediate context of a moment to try to speak to our grander selves and our more inspirational sides, Tim Walz is doing something very different that I think is more suited for this moment. Specific, actionable messages that hit home. We've had so much politics that we don't relate to, that don't affect or improve our daily lives, and have somebody specifically saying the things he's done, the very progressive things he's done, and what he will do in office in a Harris-Walz administration is a breath of fresh air. Plus, the dude just kind of looks like Steve Martin, like a more cherubic Steve Martin. And if Steve Martin ends up playing him on Saturday Night Live, that would be an extra bonus. You know, who's going to play J.D. Vance? Like, I don't know, Tucker Carlson with a beard or something? That would work. I wouldn't watch. Would you? I'm Ben Gleib for Rebel HQ. Follow me at Ben Gleib on Instagram for lots more.